Right, so I now want to deal with what is referred to as the exploration space, and specifically a framing technique. Now, you can use this for the exploration space as well as the problem space, but it just helps you figure out, well, what's the scope of the type of research that we want to conduct? What's the scope of the type of ideation that we actually want to execute when we eventually get to the develop stage? Okay, so really all that you do is you take some research. You look at drivers that come from the business and from your customers. So drivers from the business could be things like economic value, shareholder value, could be things like maximizing customer lifetime value, could be product profitability, it could be market share. And then you also have what I refer to as valuable drivers, in other words, from your customer: safety, security, low risk, retire well, all those types of valuable type words that we normally convert into things like a value proposition for our customers. So those are the types of inputs you can take. You can take market research, big data, and you can kind of look at, well, what are the types of frames that we would need to work with. So let's take a transportation example, okay? And what this really means is, what do we do when we're actually traveling on a train, okay? So all you do is you really just write a list down. We've got things like, well, what's the location from home to the station, from the station to the platform, sorry, from home in the car to the station parking lot, from the parking lot to the station to the platform, from the platform to the train, and etc, etc, etc. All right, and could be talking about, oh, maybe it's urban versus rural. All right. We could also talk around, well, what might we be doing on the actual train? All right, so this might be interpersonal interaction. Okay, we might actually be wanting to see, well, if you ever travel on the train, you'll see that everyone's got earphones on and watching their phones. So you might actually want to look at sort of, oh, well, maybe we want to limit our exploration to the mobile space, or maybe even sort of any sort of social networking type of activities that might occur on a train. All right. We might also want to consider things like time that would effectively work with. We might want to consider the reliability of the network. So you can see, and especially if I'm considering about traveling later, I'm worried about getting to meetings on time, those types of things. So we'd start to list, well, what are all the things that might actually sit within this particular space? And you normally just get that from conversations with stakeholders and customers and all the rest of that. And all we're really doing is we're saying, oh, we're going to take one piece and we're going to say, okay, we want to focus this on, from a location perspective, we're going to focus this on urban. All right, and maybe we want to focus this on families that are traveling, and maybe we want to focus it from country in, okay, so the direction that they're traveling, country into city. All right, we want to focus it on those that are using some type of mobile devices actually on the train. All right. We may also want to focus on specifically only in crowding situations that sit with on the train. Okay, so you can see that, you know, we've got a few frames that we can work with. Let's finish it off with, I don't know, maybe there's something like time. All right, so we can slot in the time aspect here. So you can see now there's a whole bunch of different dimensions that we can actually interconnect and come up with research questions. So the research questions and ultimately the research that we're going to do must fit within the space. All right, so this is why it's valid for you to go through an exercise of just trying to frame the problem. You'll see it also complements the orders of design quite nicely, because it starts to figure out, oh, hold on, what is this? Well, there's a lot of time, there's some interpersonal touch here, this is person-to-person interaction, and then it's also got person to object and person to symbol, which might sit below that. But clearly, this is what I refer to as a third order type problem. All right. And therefore, we're going to follow a third order design approach. And therefore, it's going to be related to things like services. And we're going to have service design. And we're going to have experience design and those types of things that would need to eventually emerge from this. So this is framing. And in this particular case, we're framing the exploration space. But like I said, you can use it for framing the problem space as well before you go into ideation. Thank you.